Hello and welcome back to Wildsunne Art Studio. My name is Robinsunne. Please share and subscribe and comment and like this video if you like this video. I get to embroider again today. Yay! Okay, so I've told you that I have this idea of making books out of embroidered, doing an embroidered page and then copying it onto paper, and even potentially making a book out of these, or a couple of books even. I am going to sharpen this pencil. Hold on a sec. So I personally like using grid paper. Oops. And I made, in the blue book that I'm working on, I made squares that are about 2 inches big. And in this book, I'm going to make squares for a grid that are about 1 inch. And I have discovered that I can draw in pencil a line that is, to show me where to make the grid so it's kind of clear. And if that a back stitch is wide enough to actually cover, let me see if I can do this. Yeah, you can see that. To cover the pencil line. So you can't tell that I did it. I mean, your eye doesn't get disturbed by the pencil underneath. So I just finished the stitch here. I'm going to bring it up over here. So this is not the grid paper you can find in a notebook at the dollar store. But, I figure in the back of a journal it might be fun to have a bunch of grid pages to, work out the kinds of things we work out when we're drawing and designing. You know what I could do, and I hadn't thought of this before, is I could, instead of printing this grid in black, I could do I remember the word as being screened, or grayscale. Maybe that's what it is. I could have this printed in a grayscale. So instead of 100% color, 20 or 25% color, it makes the lines come out gray instead of black. And that might, I could do some pages in black and some pages in grayscale. So that's a pretty good idea. I like that. I hope you are all well. Yes, I have nothing to say. My mind is all about telling the thread where to go. But that doesn't make for a very interesting video for you. Well, here's an idea. What other kinds of videos do you watch on YouTube? Or there's another, I think actually there are a bunch of sites. want to say one of them is called Synchronicity. I'm not sure that's true. Or Curiosity. Yeah. Um, the sites aren't as big and don't have some of the legal restrictions that YouTube has. But anyway, there are probably lots of places to go where you can watch videos about things that interest you. So, do you watch home decor or just art and crafting videos? Or, I'm watching a video on, pretty sure it's on Amazon, and it's all about Chaco Canyon out west. Very, very interesting. People came there. I think they've done the aging about 15,000 years ago, which is wonderful. I live in a part of the world where there were peoples and cultures here where I live on the coast of what is now Maine and New England. The Abenaki people and Micmac and I don't know. Anyway, a bunch of different cultures were up here, and then the various cultures from Europe came over and came across the Atlantic and took over. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about that. Oh, I was just thinking that the people who lived in the East, I mean, long before the Europeans got here, I don't know that their cultures, that they have histories that go back 15,000 years. That's kind of more a Southwest thing, that there's really evidence of cultures that were here 15,000 years ago, and the evidence of the peoples and the cultures who were here in the Northeast are only, I think, I don't know, 3, 4, 5,000 years old. And then, of course, the culture of the Europeans. I mean, there were some early people that were, yeah, maybe even 1,000 years ago, but mostly the European culture here in the northeast part of the United States, anyway, is only about 400 years old. I think the town I live in was established in, it's right on the sign as you go from, town to town. They have little markers on the side of the road that say, this is this town, and it was established in, I don't know, I want to say 1738 or something like that. I'm not really sure. It was 17 something, and it was early 17 something. And that's just, oh, actually, the town I lived in is part of another town. So this town wasn't established, I think, till the 1800s. Yeah, anyway. So it's not like living in the Southwest where there's a sense, or in Europe where there's a sense of the culture being several thousand years old, or, more than a dozen thousand years old. Just that sense of time. I haven't done enough European travel to have a physical, visceral experience of that sense of time, looking at cathedrals that have been standing for 1,000 years. There really aren't any buildings anywhere near me that have been here for 1,000 years. So, yeah, it's just a whole different sense of culture. So I love having this clear. By the way, how are we doing here? This is about 6 1/8. This is about 6, so it's a little higher over here. Just trying to keep this grid about as square as I can. So one of the techniques in drawing in pencil is to keep this point pretty sharp. The duller it gets, of course, this makes sense, the wider the line is and the harder it is to cover with stitching. This line to go all the way to here. No, that's okay. I did that correctly. The crows in my yard are having very loud conversations. They were super loud yesterday morning. There were like 7 of them out there just chatting things up. And then there were a couple of crows who were right near my window, and I could hear someone continuing the conversation who was way across the yard, like, I don't know, 200 feet away. They just were being loquacious. All right, we're done with this. I can... So again, in making these embroideries that, aren't going to get a lot of physical handling, I don't feel obligated to do like a big deal knot on the back. It's not gonna, the stitches won't come loose from handling. I'm pretty sure I've showed this to you before. I put the thread over the needle and pinch the thread between my thumb and forefinger, and then just open it enough so that I can only barely see to keep it flat and squished, and then I put the eye of the needle right down on top. This is a size 24 needle, and again it is a chenille, right? Yep, a chenille needle, number 24. So the needle's pretty narrow, so that when I pull through, there isn't like a big bump right here on the needle, which is nice when you're making zillions of stitches like this, to not feel like I'm fighting the thread and the cloth. I hope I have said this is polyester white felt, nothing special, and this is, I think it's DMC. UMC Stag. I don't know, I got it on Amazon. Yeah, UMC Stag embroidery floss. Egyptian cotton, color fast, double mercerized for extra shine. Ideal for all kinds of embroidery projects, like designing books. Yeah. So it's very nice, having lots of embroidery floss. It is not DMC, but I'm still finding that I'm working with ease. Sometimes you really want the best something. And maybe if this was going to be an embroidery for visual purposes, like I was making a piece of art, but I'm really making something that I can copy on a printer of one kind or another. So I don't think I'm not finding a big, huge difference in quality between my memory of what sewing with DMC and sewing with this is like. But even if I did, this is going to be copied on paper. Our eyes aren't going to have the same visual experiences when you're looking at the actual embroidery itself. Oh, I wanted to look up. Oh, I can't look that up. I can look that up. I can look it up on my computer. It's going to take me a second. My computer is not turned on. You're looking up symbolism of crows. Sorry, you're looking at my elbow. The symbolism of crows. Well, this one site has crows and ravens. Sometimes death and bad fortune. But I have crows on my lawn every day of the year, so but to others they symbolize rebirth, starting anew, and serving as a positive sign. In Norse, Celtic, and Druid mythology, crows and ravens are widely viewed as beacons of intelligence. They just seem, I don't know, Oh, how about this one? Crows usually symbolize God coming in and out of our lives in the Catholic religion. And the crow can be considered a messenger spirit animal. Wait a minute, let's go to the actual site. The crow is known for its relation to magic, mystery, trickery, deceitfulness. Although it often entices fear in the hearts of viewers or readers, the crow has numerous meanings in different cultures. The crow as an intelligent animal. They are extremely smart animals with positive and negative characteristics. Isn't that the way with intelligence? The main characteristics associated with crow symbolism include mysteriousness, destiny, intelligence, differing perspectives, bravery, flexibility, and mischievousness. Intelligence, problem solving, adaptability, teamwork, loyalty. So, I guess my yard is a good cultivator of intelligence, cleverness. The last trait of a crow is loyalty. Crows are highly loyal creatures that will remain so for a lifetime. You know, I had that sense about them out there chatting it up in the yard. This is really true. Sort of the energy behind. I don't understand we might call them words. I don't understand the communications that they are having with each other, but the energy is, I have this idea. I have this idea. I need you to hear me because I have this idea. And the other crow is saying, well, I have this idea and I need you to hear me. And so, yes, that sense of they belong to each other and they know that they do, and they care about being heard by their people. And they're working out some important issue. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. About I read a book called, I don't know now what that is. Let me see if I can find it. It's really a cool book. I like it a lot. Let's go to my library on Audible and see. It's called No Kindness Too Soon by Sylvain Nouvelle. And it's about sort of a think tank that gets established because there seems to be some kind of contact with communities, cultures from out of planet. And then I watched again the movie Arrival. Amy Adams is the sort of the lead character. And in both the book, No Kindness Too Soon, and the movie Arrival, the humans are dealing with beings from other planets, other cultures, who don't communicate in the same way. Like, they don't have mouths. The communication isn't coming from like a being here and a being here, and they have mouths and they talk to each other. In Arrival, they they find that communication is easiest not by sound but by visual images. I'm so sorry that I'm yawning this morning. And in No Kindness Too Soon, it's an audio. Yeah, they are speaking to each other. It's an audio version. They have a code or something, but I mean, it's not like they're talking English, but it's still an audio experience. But in both cases, the movie and the book, they talk about beings from our planet talking with beings from another planet and what is intelligent life. And I've begun thinking about how many beings there are on this planet who actually fit the criteria of intelligent life. Like, yeah, there's humans, and in the last couple of years, are we really all that intelligent? But anyway, if you look up the meaning for the word intelligence, it comes from the Greek, and it's about making choices, but it's about a being who is capable of making choices to further their lives in the direction that they choose. So it's about having some there's a word for that. Rats. It's a really good word. Sovereignty, I think, is the word I'm looking for. It's about having sovereignty in one's life and making choices about, the beings of your culture. And there's a book called The Life of Trees. I have that as well, and I haven't listened to that for a long time. So that might be way far down the list. Oh, here it is. The Hidden Life of Trees. What they feel, how they communicate, discoveries from a secret world. And the trees have, according to this and apparently many scientists around the world, trees have the ability to communicate with each other through scent, and through chemistry, which is kind of like scent, but not. It's just the presence of this or that chemical or cocktail of chemicals, not quite sure. And they structure their culture, with day-to-day decisions about who gets fed and who gets nourished and who doesn't, which is kind of interesting thinking about, like, humans do that too. So, yeah. What is intelligent life? So here are these crows on my lawn, chatting it up. And I keep noticing how cultures of being